Da 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 dum. That's what I think of it, Kirby. On board, I'm the captain, so climb aboard. We'll search for some promo on every shore. Kirby, that's how we're going to start off this very special edition of the Promo Upfront Podcast, episode number 198, as I'm recording from a cruise ship
You
on the
rock.
promo cruise. So that's how we're starting off this podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, let's call him the Field Marshal of FOMO himself, especially this week.
Yeah.
That'd be the one and only Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, how the non-promocation are you?
It's considering that I'm not on a promo cruise with you, I'm doing pretty well. I will say I don't get a lot of FOMO from events anymore. This is one of the events I do get some FOMO for. As we were talking right before we started recording, I know exactly where you are. I know exactly what's
Yep.
happening in the agenda right now, just because I've lived it one time.
Yes, you
And
have.
so like literally you were like, how's the lighting? I'm like, oh, your lighting's great because you're staring over the pool and the ocean. I know exactly where you're sitting. So yeah, I got a little FOMO. Other than that, I'm great. How about you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm not sure you should have FOMO right now because right now, right in front of me, Kirby, right in front of my naked, steaming eyes, is the belly flop contest. It's happening down on the Lido deck, which is, got to be honest with you, kind of jealous. I think
Yeah.
that's a better, as much as I love talking to you, I wouldn't mind seeing some flopping. But no, honestly, it's been a great cruise so far. Great group of people, and we just wrapped up our one-on-one meeting,
Yep.
so I'm really energized by that. It's been a great event so far. But you know what, Kirby? I know this might surprise you, but it got me to thinking a little bit. We're on the promo cruise, and it's an event Josh and I feel has really changed the game when it comes to networking in the promotional products industry. I'm not sure about that. That's for other people to decide. Here is something I am sure about, Kirby, when it comes to changing the game, and that's what our good pals over at BamBams are doing. That's right. They are the made-to-order experts, especially the Bolt line of merchandise that's produced in 1 week or less with a minimum order quantity of one, covering outdoor travel, apparel, bag sports, and all things hospitality. To reduce shipping costs and time, their main warehouse is now centrally located in Texas. What other supplier just buys a warehouse in Texas, makes an investment like that to help distributors? How about in an era where many suppliers partner with name brands, which is awesome. We love that. But
Yep.
BamBams changed the game by buying Frio. And it's that phenomenal cooler brand from Texas that's tested better than merchandise from that company that rhymes with Betty. I think you know what I'm talking about, Kirby. And most recently, BamBams introduced their brand new 32-ounce and 40-ounce tumblers from Igloo. And Kirby, brace for impact. Free setup, no minimums, full color, and a simplified pricing model. Kirby, how about them cruise apples?
You know what? I really do love the idea that a couple things come to mind. Number one, the idea of purchasing a brand in order to, there's so much control you gain over that. Plus, I think that's
Absolutely.
really cool. And then, hey, the one piece minimum along that. I mean, while there are other suppliers that have tumblers maybe that look similar, I don't know any of that are doing one. And there's just a lot to get around when you're a distributor on that give you advantages that most of your competition aren't using. And so it's powerful.
Kirby, once again, I couldn't have said it better myself. But hey, there's one more way BamBams has changed the game. They built a portal that makes ordering self promos as fast and frictionless as possible. I'm inviting you, Kirby, along with both of our listeners to visit bambamselfpromo.com and see how BamBams is always changing the game. All right, Kirby, you have the honor of having the Upfront podcast this week, or the Upfront portion of the podcast. I guess you half own the podcast. How it works. What is our number one topic, Kirby? And please, as we remind the people of the 1 week anniversary, let's try not to be so wrong this week, okay?
Okay. The 1 week anniversary.
Of you being wrong.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, actually, so this is totally unrelated, but I listened to the podcast with Jade, and on the road trip back, and she said that she was right, that I
Mhm.
was right, and you were wrong. Her words, not mine. Anyway, so I would
I
say,
don't know if that can be validated as factual information. I am calling that fake news.
okay, well, she said it's just her words. And so I the reality of it is, I think that you podcasting from a boat right now, a
Yeah.
ship, as it were.
A ship,
Um,
yes.
this has become, now it's an annual event, and it's become something that is becoming, we talked about it creating FOMO with me, but I think it's something that is, um, obviously an event that I'm paying attention to, that a lot of people are paying attention to. You're starting to see new faces come on board. That first one, it was a small group. Now
Yeah.
it's the group of people that have taken part in this have grown. So I, I want to give you an opportunity if you want to talk about the trip that's going on now.
Yeah.
That's great. But I'm kind of curious to see if you are seeing the promo cruise and the promocations have any impact on the industry itself. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I'm kind of starting to notice some, but I was curious to know what your
Yeah.
thoughts were.
I think so. This is the third time we've done the promo cruise. We did one last April, which you were on, Kirby, and then
Mhm.
we did one in November. Now the third one here in April, and we'll announce our 2025 slate of events here shortly in a couple weeks. We're just firming up some details, things like that. I have seen, it's been very interesting, as you would say. It's interesting to see how the industry has looked at this event from the conception, then to the first execution, and now to where we are now. I think first people were just like, okay, sounds like just people getting hammered on a boat, and
Right,
does it really work? And also, can these two guys pull it off?
right.
And when we did, and we had, we were so blessed with you and Amy and so many wonderful people on that first cruise. We couldn't have asked for better people on that cruise. So supportive, and we were all pulled off, and I think people started seeing the value of it. In November, we started really seeing that FOMO increase of
Yeah.
when we got on the boat to a ship, when we got on the ship, and we started seeing we started hearing stories from our supplier sponsors of the real impact.
Yeah.
Like, Kelly at Sock 101, mentioned every person on the last promo cruise placed orders with him in excess of
Wow.
six figures total as a combined. So, and Susan Lewandowski and Tom Klauser from Bell Promo, they'll be the first ones to tell you how this event has helped change the narrative of Bell Promo in a very positive way in the industry. And so we're hearing those things. I just got done speaking with Alex Pascal from Warwick. And
Mhm.
so this third cruise now, the impact of those meetings is real. And then you talk about the FOMO aspect, which you had mentioned earlier. I'm getting more messages than I ever thought I was going to get on this boat about, man, wish we were there. There were people who were thinking about getting on the ship just to be part of it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just as it becomes a thing. So now it's this thing. It exists.
It's a
It's
brand.
not a fly by night. Yeah, it is a brand. It's a great way to put it. It's not a fly by night. It's here, and I think people are excited to see where it goes. But honestly, the cruise today or this week has been fantastic so far. You know the drill. You know where we're
Mhm.
at. You know we're heading to Coco Cay tomorrow, which is the private island, and
Perfect day.
got surprises for people. It is a perfect day. The only thing that would make it more perfect, Kirby, is if you were here.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for Kirby's Caribbean soul.
Yeah, yeah, you guys have done a great job, and I think it's great. And my guess is, so as you build the brand, and this is what happens, right? Is that
Hmm.
other events will start to incorporate experiences, because that wasn't the case for a long time. Just because and I think that it's really cool that you are first really to consistently do this. And I will say, it's the kind of event where I want to be careful about how I say this, because I don't want to insult any other events. If
Sure.
I get invited back to other events, I have to look
Hmm.
at it. I have to decide, because it's so many of those are drinking from a fire hose. I got to take time out,
Sure.
and it's not like, many of them are at great locations, but I never got to see any of them because I was in meetings the
Right.
whole time.
Right.
And so I mean, this would be an easy decision, right? Like, and I think we've talked about on former podcasts the
Mhm.
relationships that have been built, which is the point of the exercise. So again, we don't have
Right.
to spend a ton of time on it, but man, you've done a great job, and I loved it. I
Well,
do feel like this is the moment where it starts to be like, as you like, once it becomes an annual event, once it becomes a
yeah,
okay, what's
a
next?
thing.
Yeah, so you guys have
Yeah.
begun to build a brand, and so congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm sitting here hearing all of your nice things and accolades. Josh isn't here. He's I'm not sure exactly where Josh is, my partner in this. I would be it'd be irresponsible if I didn't make sure he was mentioned. There's no way I would be able to do this without him, and I'd
Right.
like to think he would say the same thing. And so, it really is a partnership between two very good friends, and it's been great. One of the things I do want to hit on is that quality over quantity. A lot of those other
Yeah, yeah,
events, they do have a lot, and they have a lot going for them, by the way, like you
yeah.
said.
Great events. Yeah.
But sometimes it's like drinking from a fire hose. And one of the things I heard consistently from suppliers this morning is this is a perfect number of you did a great job vetting your guests, and the quality here is amazing. And people, we just got done with our one-on meetings. Kirby, you know exactly where I'm at,
Hmm.
and orders have been written today.
Yeah.
That's a successful event. So I'm thrilled. I'm tickled Kirby today. I'm tickled Kirby.
That's awesome, buddy. All right.
Hey, you know what, Kirby, though? There's something else I think about when I'm on the promo cruise,
Other than me. Okay.
other than you. Sublimated beach towels from our good pals over at Kanata, Kirby. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. That edge to edge, vibrant sublimation that turns heads at every beach, every pool, every belly flop contest. And it because it's got the largest imprint area in the industry. That's the
Yes.
beauty of the beach towel,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
Even better, Kirby, with the Epicolor line from Kanata. There are no minimums and no setup charges. Man, that's a constant theme this week. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Head over to thekanatagroup.com to see all the drop dead gorgeous Epicolor towels ready for your client's brand. Why am I getting weird, sexy radio voice going?
You can't
Um,
help it.
I apparently. So hey Kirby, got something for you here. LinkedIn, which as we both have agreed on is a dying platform,
I don't think
they
we've
are
agreed on
taking
that, but
on
okay.
okay, they are taking on TikTok and Instagram and influencer marketing. Have you seen this?
I don't think I have. I'm
Okay, so
excited.
last week LinkedIn started letting advertisers promote posts from independent creators.
Okay.
And so LinkedIn feels they need a spark because their revenue growth is below 10%, has been since 2022. Like I said, completely dying platform. The product is called Thought Leader Ads.
Okay.
Okay. My question to you is, so LinkedIn, and we do disagree on this a little bit.
Mhm.
I think LinkedIn is a struggling platform. I'm not going to say it's a dying platform. I think it's a platform that struggles with its identity. Do you think this will help turn that around? The fact that they're going to bring in influencer marketing. I don't like the name of it, by the way. Thought Leader Ads, I think, is a terrible name, but that's beside the point. Do you think this will help LinkedIn get back to where they want to be from a revenue standpoint?
Yeah. So yeah, I actually really enjoy LinkedIn. Yeah, whether it's hitting its revenue goals, I can't speak to, but and I've found that I've had good luck with content because the engagement's been good. I think them tweaking the algorithm has been good for them. I don't fully understand what the thought leader ads are. That being said, I think that when you engage people with large followings on social media to promote your platform of social media could be good. Like again, I think because it's going to push those people to be there, right? Like so,
Sure.
if you have an interest in YouTube, I mean, Casey Neistat, he's
Yeah.
all in on YouTube. It was in his best interest to promote YouTube and do videos on YouTube and all that sort of thing, and it drove the growth of YouTube. So
Yeah.
I think from just a 10,000-foot idea
Yeah.
perspective, yeah, sure. I think it could make sense. As is the case with all this stuff, it has to do with execution and how they're going to do it. But overall, sure.
Right. Well, and I think what you hit on is correct. The algorithm, they have clearly tweaked it, and it's
Yeah.
better now.
Yeah.
I see things I want to see. I think I've probably been incorrect in my characterization of LinkedIn. I think I have such a distaste for every time I connect to somebody, I get an
Mhm.
in mail.
Yeah.
and so I blame the platform for that when maybe that's not fair. Because I do find that extremely irritating,
Oh, sure.
and maybe the worst marketing in the history of mankind. If in my opinion, I
Yeah.
will never buy for somebody who does that, but that's beside the point. I do think it still struggles though with an identity, and I don't know if moving to this model will help. I hope it does because I think there's value in
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I just don't think I do a very good job personally of tapping into it for me and
Yeah.
my needs.
So what I would say is I actually don't think you are wrong, even though you just admitted to being incorrect, and I love that. But so
It was a
the
thought. I was actually thoughtful when I said it too.
yeah, yeah. But one of the things that I would say is the thing that is the biggest problem with the platform is exactly what you're talking about. It
Yeah,
is, hey, it's a marketing and sales platform. So I can be a douchebag on there and try to sell to every single
right,
person. I agree
right.
with you on that. That being said, one of the things that I find, and I find that distasteful as well, but it's easy because I'm on there a lot, engaging with
Right.
other content and putting out content and getting engagements
Yeah.
with my content, that is actually not it's distasteful and I don't like it, but it's not the only engagement I get. The people who I
I get
hear
it.
get that aren't putting out anything else out there. So every time
Yeah,
they get on LinkedIn, all they get is sales pitches. Does that make sense? It's like if
yeah,
you push out more good, I
yeah.
think it will help your engagement with the platform.
I've not seen that because I only push out good on that
Yeah, yeah,
platform. I only
yeah.
push out content. It's all give. And I, maybe people think I'm a douchebag because I don't get a lot of engagement on that
It's a
platform.
separate discussion, dude. Separate
It
discussion.
it is, and it's not one I'm really comfortable having in public. All right,
Cool.
Kirby, you got another topic for us?
Yeah, so this will probably be a quick one, but I thought this was really interesting.
Eh,
So
Never a quick one.
Fanatics, right? As you're
Yeah,
familiar with Fanatics, is going to be hosting
yeah.
a Comic-Con for sports this summer. So yeah, so in further proof that nerds and jocks are basically the same, the sports merchandise giant is going to put on a 3-day event in New York City in August with games, merch, trading cards, talks, appearances by Tom Brady, Derek Jeter, Eli and Peyton Manning, Kevin Durant. So essentially, like the stars of the sports world are going to be coming there. Um,
Okay.
so they are, let's see, they're hoping that they're going to have 100,000 attendees and boost various
Hmm.
businesses of Fanatics. So
Hmm.
again, I know it's the first you're hearing about this, or I think it is.
It
Um,
is.
what is your idea? What do you think about the idea of Fanatics putting on an event like this?
Duh, 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 dumb. That's what I think of it, Kirby. Um, that's exactly what I think of it. Here's the thing: Fanatics has a lot of issues. Okay,
Right.
they have horrible quality control issues. I mean, off the charts. They have done a very good job of weaseling their way into the merch space of sports, and now they actually manufacture the apparel for both Major League Baseball and the National Hockey League. Both leagues complain about them, and their sizing is wrong. I mean, they have if you have not purchased things from Fanatics, that's Fanatics branded apparel, it's wrong,
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So I think trying to have a Sporticon or whatever the hell it's called,
Hmm.
to pump up the sales of inferior merchandise that is incorrectly sized, I think is a dumb idea. Again, what we were talking about earlier with promo crews, one of the things we think goes right for promo crews is customer experience. Fanatics, in my opinion, has extraordinarily poor customer experience, and so spending money on anything else, in my opinion, is dumb.
Okay. All right. So I usually disagree just for the sake of the podcast. I actually disagree on this one in real life.
Okay, okay,
So now that being said, that I don't, as I've said many times, two things can be true, right? So yes,
100%.
if you're having wrong sizing, all that stuff, of course, you need to get that right. But the idea of having the bankroll and being able to put together an event of any nature, but certainly one like this where you could tie in sports
Mhm.
celebrities and sort of make yourself the host. We always say the host of the list is the most powerful person about the list.
Right.
Well, to me, this is like, okay, if we get to host the event, then we are able to, not only capture all those information, put together an amazing experience, maybe kind of redefine what Fanatics means in the minds of the customer. I think it's really interesting and less interesting than I'm going to go to the event because I won't. But to
Sure.
me, it's like, ooh, how could I do? You're doing it, right? You've created
Yeah.
the Comic Con for promo. You've created PromoCon there
Right.
on a cruise. And so like, and I think it's brilliant. So to me, this is like anytime we can look at our business and go, if we could create something where we could create fans and
Yeah.
kind of embrace and add them value and like do all that, boy,
Yeah.
count me in.
I guess so. We just don't have sizing issues for promo crews. All right, Kirby. I hear what you're saying. I love the idea of it. It frustrates me because it seems like the only place you can really buy merch anymore
Yeah,
for sports teams, and they don't do a great job of it. And so
fair.
it do find it frustrating. Hey, okay. Hey, are you familiar with this company? It's called Nike. They produce shoes and athletic apparel. So Nike is planning their biggest spend on the Summer Olympics ever.
Okay.
Question for you, Kurt. Do the Olympics still matter as an advertising vehicle in an era of streaming, in an era of sports are no longer special? We get every game anytime we want. Do the Olympics still matter as an advertising vehicle?
So I have mixed emotions on this because I'm not like
Oh,
it is kind of like un-American of me to say I don't really care about the Olympics historically. That being
sure.
said, the people who do care about them deeply. And it seems like once every couple years it comes up and people are watching it, it does become must see TV. And so when there are things that are a little bit more must see TV, yes, I think it could be a great investment, especially for a brand like Nike, because of course, like that's the, they're kind of tying it to a sports piece. The one of the challenges I think with TV right this minute is that because just like you said, the audience is so fractured.
Hmm.
But if you're dealing with is it NBC who has rights to many of it, if you're
I
doing
don't even know.
yeah, but if you're
Probably.
doing something across, you'll be able to advertise across those platforms on streaming, on cable, on this, on that. And if being all in across those platforms could make sense. Again, I'd have to see dollars and cents to really understand that,
Sure.
but I think in that moment it really could. That's my first thought.
Yeah. So I don't think the Olympics really do matter as much anymore. Do I think it's important Nike advertises on there? 100%. Like you, the Olympics, I lost interest in the Olympics around the time I turned 15 for whatever
Mm,
reason.
sure.
And I've always had a closer affiliation with the Winter Olympics. I like
Mm.
bobsled and luge. I like sports where there's an element of danger. And I do. I think it's fun, but I don't the Summer Olympics do nothing for me. And the fact that, it's on tape delay, 6 hour delay, because I think it's in Paris this year.
Okay.
So it'll be 6 hour delayed. It just doesn't matter anymore. And especially when it became essentially professional sports.
Right.
It's not amateurs anymore. Even though Summer Olympics is much more amateur than the Winter Olympics. I do think it's smart that Nike advertise on there. I'm not sure it makes sense for them to do the biggest advertising spend, but like you said, I need to see dollars and cents. It's definitely their a great area of focus for them. But boy, I used to look forward to the Olympics, as a kid, and now it's this thing. It's like I don't care. I
You
just
know,
don't, and I wish I did. And I don't think it's un-American. Like I just don't care. It just doesn't appeal to me anymore. There's so much other stuff I'd rather watch. Like
yeah.
the UFL. I'll watch a UFL football game before I'll watch 1 second of the Olympics. But I will watch the opening ceremony. That's still something that's magical to me.
Yeah. So I don't know. As we've been talking about this, this popped in my brain. I'm not sure if it makes any
Sure.
sense, but so
Sure.
my analogy would be I have cared about the Olympics in really brief windows. When Michael Phelps was going for his, the record breaking number,
Record. Hmm.
and it reminds me of college, like men's college basketball right now, is that I cared about the Olympics when there was a person or a character or a hero that I was following, seeing them chase
Sure.
something. And
Sure.
I don't care right now because I don't know the people. I don't have the affinity for the athletes. Same with college
Right.
basketball. It's like, yeah, I'll watch March Madness, but I bet I watched
Yeah.
two basketball games. And the only
Right.
way I cared was that there was a poll or a pool that I could bet
Right.
on. So I wonder if that lack of my affinity for the athletes might have something to do with that.
It might, honestly, like I said, some people care about the Olympics, some people don't. But something everybody should care about is the way Bam Bams is changing the game. That's right, Kirby. We talk about their made to order experts. They reduce shipping time now because their main warehouse is centrally located in Texas. Big investment there. They didn't just partner with a retail brand, they bought a retail brand in Frio,
Crazy.
and all their coolers and things test much better than the competitor named Betty.
Yeah.
And then most recently, like I said, they introduced a brand new 32-ounce and 42-ounce tumblers from Igloo with free setup, no minimums, full color, and that simplified pricing model. Kirby, BamBams is always changing the game. They want you to visit BamBamsSelfPromo.com and see how they're changing the game in self-promo ordering too. And Kirby, again, to you and both our listeners, I can honestly say, wish you were here.
That's right.